we got to talk Michigan football.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let me lead it off.
If you start off by blaming the refs, I'm leaving.
The refs sucked.
God,
The defense sucked. And the play calling sucked. You're up.
Hey, you took all my thunder. No, I'll start here because I want people to understand where I'm coming from. And I said this on Twitter. I actually used an F-bomb, which I typically don't use on Twitter, but I did. I said, were there questionable calls? Yes, but there are always going to be questionable calls in games. We lost. At the end of the day, we lost. Like, yes, they were 2 plays that hurt. There was a targeting, and Roman Wilson was a touchdown, but so what? We lost. Like, TCU was hungrier than Michigan. We lost. TCU was better coached on defense. We lost. TCU made the right plays on offense. We lost. So I'm not making it about excuses. What happened was the things that we glossed over all year got exposed. J.J. McCarthy has held the ball too long all season long. That got exposed. Michigan's red zone offense sucks. That got exposed. Like giving Mullins the ball 5 times. What are we doing here? Like the way you start the game, like that got exposed. Like 100% that got exposed. And you can't spot a team. Like let's go back to this. They were 1, 2, 3. Those are the 4 best teams in the country.
Yep.
As voted for by the committee, those are the top 4 teams, which means TCU was voted to be there because they're one of the best teams in the country. This isn't some slappy that you're playing. This team is hungry. They're there. They're playing for a first-year head coach. They're pissed they lost against Kansas State. They're hungry just like you are. You know what they represent? They're representing the first team to make it out of Texas. Like, just think of the history, like what Texas represents.
Texas football
exactly
means a little something.
UT, Texas A&M, the list goes on.
Hell,
Baylor.
Even high school football.
None of them have made it. TCU was representing
Cowboys.
all that. They were starving. You can't not come into a game that's hungry. You can't spot teams there. You can't spot them 17. You can't spot them 21 points. You can't spot a team that's hungry 21 points. Now, we saw what happened with Michigan. They played hard at the end. It was a little bit too little, a little bit too late. I wasn't impressed with the play calling. I think that caught up with us.
That 4th down call at the beginning of the game.
4th and 2.
The Philly special?
The Philly, yeah. What the hell is that? What are you thinking when you're in the state? First of all, because we've gone through this in the Woodward Sports chat, when what was it? Was it the Jets game when Dan Campbell didn't take the points on the road?
Right.
I was in that, and people started roasting me. And then the Khalif Raymond returns a punt for the touchdown. Everything Dan Campbell did was perfect. But I'm like, no, you always take points on the road. To me, neutral means road as well, because it ain't home. If it ain't home, it's the road. What did you think about that 4th down call early in the game?
Based off of the 3 play calls before that, I would kick the field goal because I didn't like either one of the play calls. It was 3 bad play calls. I looked up at one point. Loveland was running reverse. So I'm like, I would have taken the field goal based off of those plays. If there were 3 good plays and you looked a little bit different, but they didn't look like they had an answer when they were down there in the red zone in terms of the first drive.
They look confused.
Like the offensive play calling looked nervous. They looked like they were hoping that somehow JJ got the ball in the end zone. They were hoping that Mullins, the guy that hadn't touched the ball to the Ohio State game, now you give it to him 5 times. They were hoping that he would fall into the end zone. They didn't look like they had a real game plan, so I would have taken the field goal 100%. I mean, it's, you know what's funny is, like, only 3 Michigan games I've ever hurt in my life. And when I say hurt, I'm talking about hurt. Like, when Michigan lose, most of the time they deserve to lose, so I'm not one of those guys that's hurt. When they lose, hey, they lost. The Hail Mary against with Cordell Stewart in '94.
Yep.
Oh, I was there.
Michael Westbrook.
You know what? I was 11 years old. Fault me if you want to. I cried. When we lost to Ohio State in 2006, the 1 versus 2, we were better than them. Should have beat them. To play against with Sean Crable. That was the game right there. I didn't cry that game because I was a grown man, but I was pissed.
Trouble with the snap?
Nah, not for some reason. Not even that one, because I feel like Michigan was still trying to get to that echelon. I thought Michigan State was better.
I thought that was a perfect rivalry game. Trouble
exactly,
with the
and that's why
the champ wasn't ready to give it up, and you could tell they were on the way out.
And that's why I didn't have a problem with it. Yep. This one I had a problem with because Michigan's better than TCU. Yes, I said it. You can believe what you want to. That Michigan team is better than TCU, but that TCU wanted it more that day, and they beat Michigan. You can't spot a team. You can't fumble down there in the red zone. And when I say fumble, a proverbial fumble in the offensive calling. And then on defense, all year we've seen defense be the hunter, be the prey, be fast, move around. They weren't ready. They could not get out of their own way on defense.
TCU's quarterback ability to just drop back for 30 yards and
Max
then find
Duggan,
the guy running the
under route,
those
the over
two
route.
plays
Yeah.
to me changed the game. You know, because Michigan was back in it down by 3, and then all of a sudden they're down by 10 again, right?
That's because there was no defenders on that side of the field,
Well,
which
that's
I'll
because-
never understand for the rest of my
Because
life.
you had to defend for 9 seconds,
Yeah.
and they were man-to-man coverage. You run everybody this way. You won't run the one guy underneath, and you hope to get to the quarterback in time. But that quarterback literally dropped back 20 yards.
The craziest thing about it is when you actually break that game down, when you go back and look at that game again, Max Duggan didn't beat Michigan.
No.
Max Duggan didn't play a good game. Like, if you take away a 75-yard touchdown, like Max Duggan, like you said, he made the 2-3 plays that counted.
Yep.
He made the ones that counted. Like, they responded when they needed to. Every time Michigan got a little bit of that passion back, 75-yard touchdown. Here's the next play. Michigan gets more of
They
it back.
did what champions do.
1,000%. And that's what I would say. Like, TCU did what champions do. I expected it to be on the other side for Michigan. It didn't happen.